Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and I have a flip through for you today. I'm involved in a few Aussie craft groups and we do swaps. One of the swaps that I signed up for was to create a junk journal. I have got some videos in my playlist Creative Collab Journal that will show you how I made the initial journal and some of the spreads that I've done. The lady I'm swapping with, I did ask her what some of her favourite things were before I picked a theme, because we got to pick what we made, and she said she loved vintage books. So I've gone all out with this. This is a vintage book celebration, if that's the right word. I have put a lot of effort into this to make a beautiful journal. The pages are, how can you say, they're pretty extreme. They're not basic, and I love how it turned out. So this has arrived at the recipient's place, so I'm happy now to show everything that I've done. And I know for some people it'll be like, oh my God, that's too much, I can't do that. But it doesn't matter. I want to share it with you. And if you have something you're passionate about, this is a really fun way to create a junk journal accordingly. So I did make a hardcover journal. I didn't video me making this. There was too much swearing involved. And I held my breath a lot. But in the video where I showed you this and how I made the journal, I've put a link in so you can actually see how this sort of cover is made. It's this fabulous trifold arrangement, and it did turn out absolutely beautifully. So I'm very happy with that. But by gosh, it was not the easiest thing I've ever done. And because I am such a perfectionist, doing something like this pushed me to the limit. But that's what this is all about. It's doing things that are different and having a go. So it's a very simple journal. There's technically only 8 pages in it. It has ended up quite chunky because I've got all sorts of fun things in here. You could certainly make this style of journal and add more pages. But the way this journal is made, it ends up very narrow through here and ends up awfully chunky here. So I don't know how many more pages you could add, but it's just a thought. So I found this printable online and I thought for a book themed journal, this was perfect, from the Library of. And I'm not filling this out because I know her Facebook name is probably her shortening of her real name. She may want to put her full name on there. So I'm leaving that blank, and she can decide what to do from there. Now let's just get this nice and central here so you can see. So the very first page started off thanks to Tracy Fox Creative. She hands out a freebie and creates a really lovely piece every month. And literally as I was starting this journal, she put up videos and I decided to use the freebie kit and create this first spread. Library catalogue. I thought that seemed like a really appropriate place to start this. There is a video of how I did this if you'd like to see it. But I've basically created a pocket here using leftover scraps from her freebie, and I've created this fold out full of little pockets and bigger pockets and layering, and I made a cute little, I'd better just start with that. I decided every page had to have some sort of book, and I've come up with a few ideas. The one for this one is this cute little book log. There's some simple lined paper in there to journal in. And that was sort of book number 1. It's got a little belly band here to hold it safe. And on the other side, we've got another tuck spot with some cute little bits and tiny little bits here. These are like for these cute little, like little mini library cards with tiny little tabs. So, yes, this was all working in miniature, but I absolutely loved how it turned out, and I think it's perfect as the first page of a book-themed journal. Then the next one here, I did not film doing this, but I started off with actually, if I pull this out, you might see it a little bit better. Let's just get this out of here for now. I got this pack of vintage stencils from Temu, and I thought they were going to be smaller, but they turned out to be quite large, which worked out perfectly for this. It has the word patisserie and confectionery in it, and I used some watercolour to highlight the patisserie, and then to make this a little bit pink so that it wasn't stark white, I just used my Distress Oxide. Now, where's the pink one? What's it called? Vintage something? No, what's it called? Hang on a minute. Where is it? Okay, so to make this pink so that it wasn't stark white, I used Victorian Velvet Distress Ink and a dauber, and I just whooshed all around it. Didn't try to make it all even and perfect, and I love how that turned out. Then I found this thing on my computer. I don't know how long I've had it for. I don't know where I got it from because there was no branding on it, but it had this cute little cafe image, and I then added the word cafe. The background page here is from a Ladro book that I got. I used a paper bag to create a pocket and then put a little bit of deco on it. And then from this same page kit, I've made these 3 journaling cards. I've just glued them down onto some grocery bag to give them stability, and they go into this little pocket that I've made here. That one can go there. And then the book that goes with this is from the cover of the book where I got this from, and of course they are the famous macaron people in Paris. So I've cut this from the cover of the book, and I've just created a very simple, using some packaging, little fold-out book, and then cut this from the back cover. So this is an almanac. So that is a different type of book again, and that's what we've used for this page. The next one, I have got a video on how I did this. I used, the basis of it is a freebie from Ink and Page, and we've got a beautiful little bookcase here. I've got a piece of vintage star map that I printed on some coffee dyed paper. I created a fun little shaker pocket and included some journaling cards with these lovely planets as tabs. So very simple, but I think it looks effective, and adding a shaker pocket was just something a little bit different for this page. I've also done a video on this one. This is a vintage sewing theme. The paper I chose for this had a bit of a sewing vibe. There's evidence of little bits of fabric and stuff on it. So I had decided I needed to do a vintage sewing theme for this one. So that's exactly what I did. And I've used a piece of lace and ribbon to create a belly band to hold this beautiful image. It's from Sunflower and Doors, and just created a little journaling card, glued down some ephemera pieces. Up the top here, we've got a little pretend button card, and I was going to put lace around this, but I didn't want to hide the pretty image. I just loved it way too much. And then the book for this one, I've made a little needle book. So again, it's a tiny mini little journal. I've just stapled it in, and I've put a couple of needles on that first page, cute little image of a doily and a little box of needles. So that's a needle book. And down here, this fabulous little printable has just gone down into that bottom pocket. So love that one. So for this page here, I've gone for a bit of a vintage stationery theme, and I've used a variety of things here. This selection of goodies over here is from a freebie from Non-Stop Paper Crafts. And what I've done, if I pull these out, what I did, I created a tuck spot with one of the pieces, and then 2 belly bands with these pieces. I had these little labels were in my stash. This is from Tracy Fox Creative, and so is this gorgeous old filing cabinet. And then for the book, I found this on my computer. Actually, it was this. Wait a minute. This might be from Non-Stop Paper Crafts too, now that I think about it. I honestly can't remember. I spent so much time searching my laptop and all the things I've saved on it to create this. I can't remember whether this is part of this or not, but it really doesn't matter. We needed a book, so I decided the book for vintage stationery would have to be a ledger. So I got my old typewriter out and typed the word ledger on there, added this cute little piece, and then this vintage fountain pen was also from Tracy Fox Creative. And again, I've created a little something, but instead of another notebook, I've made a little folder full of cute things. This is another freebie from Tracy Fox. It was part of this one. And then these are all little pieces from Non-Stop Paper Crafts. I've just made tiny little journaling cards by cutting slits in the drawers and creating a tuck spot. And then these pieces here are from... I have no idea. But they were in my laptop, so they've gone to good use. And you can see I've cut one piece into 3 to make these little bits of ephemera. And over on this side, I've got a little ledger card. And this was also from Non-Stop Paper Crafts. And you see it's got, if you have a look, hang on, let me pull this one out. It had slits to cut out. So that's exactly what I did. And then I just added these tiny little journaling cards. So this is more like a folio rather than a book, but I just thought it was time for a little bit of variety. And then I've just added a couple of little bits that I had in my stash, the word stationery, and we have a vintage office theme. And these little belly bands just allow things to go in a little bit easier. Otherwise, it was going to be very hard, I thought, to get these in, but there we go. A little postcard. Not sure where that came from, but there's plenty of those sort of things out there. And then I love this little typewriter keys, and I've just added a little tab to it for difference. There we go. So stationery theme. Then the next one, I put this video up not long ago. I had a freebie from Line.Arrow that I had for ages, and I decided to go with an bug themed page. We've got some stenciling, cute little journaling card with that lady beetle on it, and then I made this little insect book by gluing down these little journaling cards that I printed at half size onto some lined paper, inked all the edges, and I simply got this little image off Google. and stuck it down onto some cardstock. To turn it green, it was craft coloured. Again, I just used my Distress Oxide. I did the same with the stenciling. It just makes it a really quick and easy way to colour something, and you don't have to wait for it to dry. So, love that. Then the next one. I think I did do a video of this one. This is, this was from a freebie from Ink and Page, the Librarian's lantern. The little lantern here swings a little. I've used a brad. And the book for this one, this gorgeous little tiny book cover, very similar in appeal to the main cover. And I've just created a tiny mini journal, even put in a little pocket with a tiny library card. So that, of course, is the book. Just a little bit of pocket layering, piles of books, and then a journaling card. This piece I fussy cut out to create the pocket because this is also beautiful. I didn't want to cover anything I didn't have to cover. So I just created this little tuck spot down in the corner here and made a little journaling card with the lady who is the librarian and put it onto some book page. That seemed logical for a book-themed journal. Cute little pen and ink bottle down there as well. And the final one is some vintage herb / apothecary page. I've got this gorgeous little herb shop, all the lovely pretty herbs, and there's tiny little pockets with cute little herb jars in them, front and back, and then just a little cutout I had in my stash. I've added a few little, just two little die cuts. That's actually done from magazine pages. I've got a little top tuck spot here, and in there is a cute little envelope, and in the envelope is a little piece of ephemera and our book. So I just had these two little journaling cards, which I inked the edges, printed them out. Together with a staple, I've placed some pages inside for journaling or keeping herbal notes, and that's the book for the final spread. So this is it. This fabulous collection of books is all complete. And the one thing I did do, which I just decided to do literally before I finished this video, was to add a little something on the inside. Apart from the fact I thought it looked a bit bare, I wanted somewhere to put a little card, a little, you know, intro thank you type arrangement. So I have this little pocket. I created that for another video way back when, and I had that in my stash, and also this cute little mixed media card, and I've just put a little note on the back so she knows who this is from. And now this is finished and ready to be enjoyed by my swap partner. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below, or please let me know which book page spread you liked the best. Be interesting to see. And please give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.